This is CGTN, China Global Television Network.
The African Premier Club competitions are entering the semi-final phase, with the second leg of the quarterfinal matches underway across the continent this weekend. But coronavirus pandemic continues to hamper the competitions, with the finalists taking every caution to complete the season safely. We shall take a look at the impact of the COVID-19 on the CAF Champions League. Hello, welcome to your weekly sports program that brings you all the sporting news and reviews from an African perspective. We will highlight the thrill of victory while also showing you the agony of defeat. I'm Richard Nta in Nairobi. This is Sports Scene. Put on your seatbelts, buckle up, get ready, get ready. Let's get started. Here's what's coming up in the show. Kenya's world 1,500 meter champion Timothy Cheruiyot eyes Olympics gold in Tokyo. And World Rugby champion South Africa Springboks brace themselves for British and Irish Lions test. Once again, welcome to Sports Scene. Let's get going and let's get started with football. Nigeria's Super Falcons captain Asisat Oshoala made history when she became the first African footballer to win the UEFA Women's Champions League after her Spanish club FC Barcelona thumped Chelsea 4-0 in the finals. Now, it capped yet another milestone in the decorated career of Oshoala, who started out from humble beginnings at the Nigerian side FC Robo. CGTN's Deji Badmus reports.
This is where it all began for Asisat Oshoala. It's a Sunday pitch of a local secondary school that serves as a training ground of one of Nigeria's women football clubs, FC Robo. For close to 4 years, Asisat trained and played here under the watchful eyes of this man who discovered her, the coach and club owner.
Asisat played against us in a very secondary school game, and I saw her and I saw the potential and I developed that potential. By that time, I was not that experienced in coaching. I only believe in my own game, in my own days when I was playing, use what you have to gain position. Asisat has speed, and I developed the speed. I worked all my life on the speed.
From the sandy pitch of FC Robo, Asisat has now risen to become one of the top players in global women football. Her milestone is becoming the first African player to win the UEFA Women Champions League with FC Barcelona.
Being the first African player to win the UEFA Women's Champions League means a lot to me, my career, and also other kids in Africa, to make them understand that no matter what's going on around you, just keep pushing, just keep working, don't give up on your dreams, and you have to realize that everything is actually possible.
I feel excited, at least. I give God the glory once again, but it's a record. Maybe in this area, we set the pace, others follow.
Oshoala's story has been a source of inspiration to these young girls at FC Robo. 19-year-old Gift here is the highest goal scorer in the just concluded Nigerian Women's Football League. She's closely following in Oshoala's path to achieve her own dream.
She has always been a motivator to me. Her success have always been inspiring me a lot. So every day I just pray to be like her, to be successful like her, and to make name like her.
Having won the African Women's Footballer of the Year a record 4 times and several other individual and team awards, including a national honor by the Nigerian government, one thing missing in her trophy cabinet is the World Cup. No African team has ever won the Women's Football World Cup.
I believe an African team can actually win the World Cup, obviously. But to be honest with you, I think we are still not ready now compared to the kind of preparations and everything the European players get. But it's still very much possible. But I just think we are not ready now.
From this humble beginning to global stardom, Asisat Oshoala is a typical story of grass to grace. And at just 26, she's probably just getting started. Deji Badmus, CGTN, Lagos, Nigeria.
The coronavirus pandemic has disrupted the smooth flow of Africa's premier club competitions. Top clubs in both CAF Champions League and Confederations Cup are limping through the last 8 stage of the competitions with caution after many clubs found the going too tough. CGTN's Adel Al-Mahroui takes a look at the impact of COVID-19 on the CAF Champions League.
This is the first CAF Champions League competition to be played fully during the COVID-19 pandemic under strict health conditions. No wonder that has shaken African football.
This
football season is way less exciting than last year's. Last year's 8 teams in the quarterfinals had all previously won a Champions League title. All matches were African derbies. This year we only have 1 team from Egypt, 1 from Tunisia and Morocco, which is quite unusual.
من تونس ممثل اللي هو الترجي من مصر ممثل اللي هو الاهلي
ما فيش مفاجآت كبيره يمكن ابرز مفاجاه بس كايزر تشيفز ان هو اكتسح سيمبا
We are at a stage in football where all our expectations are shuffled. Take Simba for example, it has put on a great show in the group stage, defeating Al Ahly and taking the group lead, which made us all think this team will make it to the final. Then suddenly comes Kaizer Chiefs, slams Simba 4-0 in the first leg, surprising people in Africa.
This is Belouizdad's 3rd appearance in the CAF Champions League and the first ever in the quarterfinals. In general, the first leg of that stage saw all groups runners-up stand undefeated, with 3 of them setting 1 foot in the golden square with a strong victory of at least 2-0. Experts believe that the pandemic's fans ban could be the main driver for these surprising results we're seeing this year.
COVID-19 has deprived clubs from their fans. If fans were there, I think our analysis, expectations and matches results would have been different. A team defeated 2-0 can have a comeback on their pitch at home among their fans. But the pandemic has made all teams have equal chances.
When football fans are out of equation, small teams become equally challenging to popular teams. Big clubs are now paying the price of not having their fans in stadia. Then CAF, of course, is losing financially for that decision because they are losing a lot of marketing revenue.
Because of the delays in almost all domestic and international football competitions schedule, many teams in the Champions League are stressed out. Several clubs have reported record injuries among their players, which in turn affected the quality of football Africa is presenting to the world.
Continental clubs are facing many challenges in this season's CAF Champions League, but that doesn't make the competition any less exciting. Watching small teams holding giants at a standstill or even defeating them is always thrilling to football fans. And that is maybe one positive impact the COVID-19 pandemic has on football. Adel Al-Mahroui, CGTN, Cairo.
Now let's catch up with the latest results from the CAF Champions League. South Africa's Kaizer Chiefs has advanced to the CAF Champions League semifinals despite losing 3-0 to Simba in Tanzania. The Amakosi now proceed to the last 4 after a 4-3 aggregate victory. Defending champions Al Ahly have qualified for the semifinals after a 1-1 draw away to Mamelodi Sundowns in Tshwane on Saturday afternoon. The Red Devils now win 3-1 on aggregate after a 2-0 first leg victory. 2 matches are underway now. Esperance du Tunis playing Algeria's CR Belouizdad, while Wydad Casablanca of Morocco are playing MC Alger in the CAF Champions League quarterfinals. All right, for more on this, I'm delighted to be joined by the very best in the business, Adel Al-Mahroui. Adel, thank you for joining us here on Sports Scene. Always a pleasure having you with us. Let's dive straight into this one, Adel. To start off briefly, tell us, what do you make of the results just in, and what does it all mean in the race for the title? Adel?
Brilliant results what we're seeing today. Right now, actually, the final game that is going to be determined, I just can't get my eyes off the screen. It's in penalty kicks with Esperance and Belouizdad, where Esperance brilliantly overturned and managed until the last minute to get a 2-0 score to have an overall aggregate tie. And right now, it's just, going one goal against the other. When Esperance hits the pole, then Bulsdate comes and there's a goal save. So even now, you can't really tell what's happening. But for instance, what we know for the latest match that was just before our show, Wydad managed to overcome LC Alger, where the two in the first leg had a 1-1 tie. Now, Wydad is finally in the Golden Square after sealing the second leg 1-0. And in the morning, the scores, I mean, the two matches for Simba and Kaiser Chief, for example, everyone knew that Kaiser Chief has cornered Simba with a 4-0 victory in the first leg. But what we've seen earlier this morning is that Simba fearlessly coming in the strongest back. They scored 3 zeros and they wasted several other couple of goals. They could have easily made it to the Golden Square. But of course, football is football at the end of the day, and they were stopped by Kaiser Chief from scoring the fourth and the aggregate equalizer. And now Kaiser Chief is doing a surprise by being in the semi-finals. And for Al Ahly and Mamelodi Sundowns, they clash for the third consecutive times in the CAF Champions League quarterfinals. This year, the year before, and the one before, Al Ahly and Mamelodi Sundowns have always came together in the quarterfinals. Al Ahly had a strong 2-0 victory, and in the away game today in South Africa in Pretoria, what Mosimane did was actually appeared to be brilliant. He managed to he seems to know exactly what he wanted. By the within the first 11 minutes into the game, he scored 1 goal, and this is a major accomplishment for Al Ahly. And the rest of the game, a complete deadlock around the goal. They have, if you go and take a look at the statistics, it's amazing. Al Ahly has only 30% ball acquisition, Mamelodi Sundowns 70% ball acquisitions, and their shots on target were phenomenal. But their former coach and master, he really understands the team and knew exactly his tactics for the game. So these are exciting results, and what we're seeing now, until we see what will happen in these exciting penalty kicks between Esperance and MC Alger, and Bulsdate, sorry, it's going to be really amazing to see what will happen in the semis.
Amazing and exciting stuff indeed. Adel, very briefly, let me ask you this. What has been the impact of, or lack of, or limited fans to some of the teams remaining in the competition?
So basically, you know, fans are the life of football, and whenever you're deprived of fans, you lose the spirit of football. The teams themselves, they don't play as normal, no matter how well they're trained, no matter what kind of best players are there on the team and on the squad. It's never the same. The fans, as you've seen in the story I've just did, the analysts say the fans are the external factor that the other team always considers and fears. Without this, the home team always loses this kind of edge. So the spirit in general has been lost. We know this here in Egypt because for so many years, since 2012, we rarely had fans enter the stadium. And it only happened maybe when we hosted the 2019 Africa Cup of Nations. It was still quite limited, but at the end of the day, when you lose that spirit, the entire competition is flipped, and it affects the performance, of course, by the players, by the home team in terms of encouragement and tactics, and the other team who comes without fans feel very comfortable and try to flip. And this is what we've seen actually in the quarterfinals. We've seen teams that makes it for the very first time to the quarterfinals and overcoming giants in football. So it is, of course, a loss for African football in general, not having fans inside.
All right, Adel, I agree with you 100%. It's never the same without the fans. Adel, once again, thank you for your spot-on analysis as always. Moving on. Meanwhile, Zimbabwe's competitive domestic football will restart on Saturday for the first time in more than 18 months. The country's premier soccer league resumes after the government suspended all sporting events due to COVID-19, thereby canceling the entire 2020 season. From Harare, here CGTN's Farai Mwakatuya.
Cranbourne Bullets secured promotion to the Premier Soccer League for the first time in the club's history in 2019. But these players have had to endure more than a year on the sidelines to make their debut in the top flight.
I lost the entire year without playing. Age is not on my side. Plus, there is no appearance fees or winning bonuses which we rely on to feed our families. Now that football is back, we can do that again and also get seen by international scouts.
It is hard from a continuity point of view, because if you were on a high as we were and had to stop playing, then you will fail to regain the same momentum you had before.
However, they are relishing finally making their big splash. The step up to the Premier League will mean playing at bigger stadiums, using better training facilities, as well as adapting to a different tactical dynamic.
In Division 1, we played a high-pressing game, but in the Premier League, there's a lot of more space. So we hope to learn as we progress.
They will have a short curve to do so. Instead of a full league format, there is a cup tournament where the 18 teams have been split into 4 groups, with the top 2 from each proceeding to a knockout stage.
It's not really even so much about who wins to me, it's about getting the players back, getting them to regain a level of fitness and having the action. So it's not the most ideal tournament, but it's worked out with this group stage so that at least a club will have a minimum of 6 games rather than getting knocked out in the first round.
Matches will be played in empty stadiums, which may even the odds for these Premier League debutants.
The big teams are at a disadvantage because they're used to having their supporters as the 12th man, but this time round it will be a level playing field.
The tournament, which kicks off on May 22nd, will run for 8 weeks. Farai Mwakutuya, CGTN, Harare, Zimbabwe.
All right, plenty more to come on Sports Scene. We're just getting started. Here's what's ahead. Kenya's World 1,500 meter champion Timothy Cheruiyot eyes Olympics gold in Tokyo.
How would you create your legend? On the fields, on the tracks, in the arenas of Africa. Were you born to be a player? Could this moment be yours? Sports Scene. Find your game.
Welcome back to Sports Scenes. Thanks for sticking with us. World men's 1,500 meters champion Timothy Cheruiyot's aspirations to add the coveted Olympics title to his collection was delayed by a year due to the pandemic. Now, with Tokyo 2020 around the corner, the Kenyan middle distance star is hoping lightning does not strike twice as he prepares to open his season at the Doha Diamond League meeting next weekend. CGTN's Mohammed Abubakar reports.
At a private school grounds in Nairobi, Coach Bernard Ouma is yelling instructions to his Rongai Athletics Club runners. Among them is world men 1,500 meters champion Timothy Cheruiyot. Having just missed qualification to the Rio 2016 Olympics in Brazil, Cheruiyot is determined to make up for lost time by punching his ticket in Kenya's team to Tokyo 2020.
In 2016 I missed Rio because I was number 4 in trials. So I need to make a Kenya team. So we're having a trial, and then when I'm there, if I make a team for Olympics, I need to be having a medal in Olympics. That's something I like in my career.
Training, however, has been a challenge to Cheruiyot and his RSC stable mates.
Last year was bad. This year, I don't think it's going to be as worse as last year was, but we are prepared for any eventuality.
The global pandemic that forced the games to be postponed by a year has seen Ouma change his coaching methods.
We live together, all of us, so that means the bubble is working for us, and we try to keep up to the adherence of the COVID protocol as stipulated by the various organs. This is the Ministry of Health and the World Health Organization. That's why you see most of the time on our mask, ensuring that we travel in designated transport system to training, and we've zeroed our training within our vicinity. This is the track and into the national park. Luckily, the animals don't have COVID. So that's what we interact with most of the time.
The world champion and three-time Diamond League winner has had to adapt to the new order following the resumption of sporting activity under strict COVID-19 countermeasures.
When we go to races, we normally go and there and train, but now you are going there and stay in the room. It's a bit challenging, yeah.
No Kenyan has medalled in the men's 1500 meters at the Olympics since Asbel Kiprop won gold at the Beijing 2008 Summer Games, only after the previous winner was banned for doping. Cheruiyot is hoping that the delayed Olympics will act as a good luck charm to his gold medal ambitions in Tokyo. Mohamed Abubakar, CGTN.
Africa's top rugby sevens teams have been taking part in a solidarity camp as they prepare for this summer's Tokyo Olympics. South Africa and Kenya have qualified for the Tokyo event postponed from last year, while Zimbabwe and Uganda are in with a chance. The solidarity camp gave the teams an opportunity to experiment with South Africa, the top-ranked sevens side in Africa, winning the tournament, followed by Kenya, who are ranked 12th in the world. Zimbabwe and Uganda will compete for qualification at an Olympic repechage event in Monaco next month. For Ugandan head coach Talbert Onyango, the solidarity camp gave his side a chance to prepare against some of the very best ahead of the repechage.
Massive, massive, massive. Wouldn't have gotten this kind of opportunity anywhere else. We've played top quality teams. And they bring different tactics to the table, different challenges to the table. Kenya very physical. All South African sides very physical and very intense. Their pace is pretty high, and they challenge the opposition in different ways.
It's just taken me completely out of my depth, but at the same time it's exciting. It's new, it's different, it's a challenge.
It's really exciting.
Welcome back to Sports Scene. We appreciate your company. Let's talk a bit of rugby. The schedule for the much anticipated British and Irish Lions tour to South Africa has been revised due to the global pandemic and concerns over a third wave in the Rainbow Nation. But with the tour set to take place, will the reigning World Rugby champions be ready for the Lions? CGTN's C.S. Duplessis takes a look.
It feels like a lifetime ago when Siya Kolisi and his band of merry men in green and gold brought back the Webb Ellis Trophy from Japan. Now, after more than a year without any international rugby for the world champions and a brand new head coach, the biggest series on South African soil in well over a decade looms dauntingly large.
The fact that there was a schedule of 13 tests for 2020, which haven't happened, that would have given Jacques a bit of time to find his feet. But now, I guess there's going to be a baptism of fire against a coach of the Lions who's been in charge there, been involved for 3 tours with the Lions.
Although the amount of rugby has been limited, plans have been put in place during the pandemic, and with a 47-man squad expected to be announced, the Springboks will have very little game time to prepare for the visit of the Lions.
They'll have sort of 2-3 weeks where they can get together the squad. They'll have 2 games against Georgia as well. It's not perfect, but at the moment it's the best you've got. So you've got to make the best of those plans. And if there's one guy who can make plans, it's Rassie Erasmus and his assistant Jacques Nta. But those two, we saw at the World Cup. If there's somebody who can think out of the box, it'll be them.
The #1 ranked team in the world will face the best Britain and Ireland have to offer without the usual packed stadiums brimming with green and gold jerseys. But motivation won't be lacking from both sides going into the first test, despite being a little undercooked.
It'll go a long way to see how our players perform, how quickly they get battle hardened. But Test match rugby is not something that you can practice. You got to get out there. You got to sing the anthem. You got to feel that pressure, and then you got to take the knocks and obviously deliver the knocks as well to get used to it.
It is very physical. I think one of the most physical games I ever played in my life was that second test at Loftus. I think it's brutal. I think afterwards it takes you a few days to recover. You sit in the ice bath, try and nurse all those bumps and bruises. It's probably the height of physicality. So I think the boys will be bracing themselves for that.
The Lions will know that their last visit to the Rainbow Nation in 2009 ended in a series defeat. But with the playing field somewhat leveled due to the pandemic, the two tests at the stadium behind me look set to produce fireworks at a time when the South African public is desperate to see their beloved Boks take to the field once again. CS Du Plessis, CGTN, Johannesburg, South Africa.
All right, let's talk a bit of football. World Football Governing Body FIFA will carry out a feasibility study on holding the World Cup and Women's World Cup every 2 years after backing a proposal at its annual Congress on Friday. The two competitions are currently held every 4 years, but the Saudi Arabian Football Federation put forward a proposal for a study of the impact of switching it to every 2 years.
But we have to go into these studies with an open mind. There is certainly no decisions we are going to take which will in any way jeopardize what we are doing. We know about the value of the World Cup, believe me. We know as well about the impact that the World Cup can have.
Nta won Saturday's special stages in the Rally of Portugal to increase his lead in the competition. Estonian Nta, who is chasing his second win of the season, started the day with a 6-second advantage over Elfyn Evans, but stretched the gap to 19.2 seconds after winning special stages 9, 10, and 11. Welsh and Evans and Dani Sordo of Spain finished in second and third place respectively on all three of those stages. 6.6 seconds now separate the pair in second and third overall. 7-time reigning WRC champion Sebastian Ogier spun on stage 10, allowing Japan's Takamoto Katsuta to move above the Frenchman and up into fourth place in the standings. Well, that's it for this edition of Sports Scene. Remember, you can send us your feedback to the contacts on the screen and follow us on digital media platforms. Thanks for watching. Check out this BMX freestyle cycling that will make its debut at the Tokyo Summer Games. See you again next week. I'm Richard Nta.